everybody, and welcome to Once Upon an Upside. We are here for our second round of Christmas movie recaps for UpTV. I am Jess, your host, and Kari is back with us.
Hey guys, happy to be here.
And we have a new face to Once Upon an Upside, but you'll know her if you follow the Hallmarkies podcast. We have Bree Hill with us.
Hi, everybody.
Thanks for joining Kari and I, Bree. We're so excited to have you on with us.
Thank you too for having me, because I would have probably never watched UpTV had we not been doing this. Because like I was sharing with you, Jess, I didn't really realize what you all were talking about when you were talking about then I got on my Friendly app and I'm like, oh, duh, that's what they're talking about.
Exactly. I mean, there are so many places that fun Christmas movies are popping up, but really UpTV has been around for a long time and they've done Christmas movies for a little while now, but it still is pretty new for a lot of people.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So thank you for pushing me out of my comfort zone.
A whole new world of movies, because
I know
we have enough already.
And I'm kind of hooked, so.
That's good. All right. Well, let's jump right in. So we had 4 movies from the past 2 weekends. And again, they have them all in themed weekends. So the first round was Christmas in the City weekend. And our first movie from that was Mistletoe Molly. And this one was about waitress and animal lover Molly Bishop is desperate for a holiday miracle, broke and needing major car repairs. She's counting on a big career opportunity to come through before the holidays without using her family's name to get there. But when handsome cafe regular and do-gooder Aiden Ford starts to meddle in her life, Molly will have to figure out if it's too much or just the holiday miracle she needed. So, who has some overall thoughts about this one?
You know, I'll start. I mean, why does it say animal lover in there? There was like 0 animals in this whole movie.
Yeah.
Because she kept answering the phone and
giving money.
Which I was like, what are you doing?
You don't have it.
Talking about her love for animals and anything that had a tail, you know, that type of thing. It was a cute concept, but they're really, I kept waiting for the animal shelter storyline and there was none.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a bit misleading.
A lot of tell, not show. You know, even when we have like the fundraiser plot line towards the end, I'm like, why wasn't this an animal shelter one with her love of animals? It was weird. Right. Yeah.
For sure. I think I like that phrase, tell, not show. There was a lot of tell. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it's like, okay.
Well, I was telling Jess before we started, I am new to UpTV, obviously, but this movie especially, there are a lot of awkward pauses that just made it kind of awkward between them. But overall, I liked it.
Good.
Yeah, I liked the movie. I liked it. There were some plot lines like that one that I felt like didn't really go anywhere. So it's like we really didn't need that. But in the end, I think it was one of my faves.
That's good to hear. That's good to hear because I was a little, it was just interesting to me. Their chemistry a little bit, you know, they kind of set up this whole thing like, you know, it's kind of mysterious to him that she has this family that actually could help her and she's kind of rich and stuff. But that mystery was solved like way at the beginning. Like he found out who she was like way at the beginning. And so then it just kind of became this long struggle of, hey, I want to do this on my own, you know, that type of thing. And I was like, okay, that got a little long for me. But she did come around and accept help.
Yeah. I struggled with the conflict a little bit because I'm like, because they dragged it out so long, it felt like she was being a little childish by the end.
Yeah.
Well, only because she like crossed her arms so much too. I was like, okay,
my daddy will not help me.
I was like, if you uncrossed your arms, like I feel like I would handle this conversation a little bit better. Because otherwise I kind of thought it was a little childish too.
Yeah.
But I don't think, okay, what did you think about the conflict, Bree? Like, was it wrong for him to try to help her out? Or was it he doing exactly what she didn't, you know, like what the dad was doing?
Yeah. I think, obviously, I'm like, she told you not to do that, so you should not have done that. However, looking at it, okay, this is the choice the writer made. Like her internal thing is, I do everything on my own. I asked you not to do this, and then you do the exact thing. So, dun, 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 like there's
Right.
a conflict right there. So I'm like, okay, I get it.
Yes.
I was like, girl, she just kind of gave the guy like a little wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Isn't she great? So
Yeah.
yeah.
I know. I actually kind of liked him. I thought he was kind of fun and a normal. He was kind of a normal hero to me. And I liked him. Jess, you didn't like him at the beginning, but he grew on you.
The fixed people, Jess. The fixed people still bother
I know.
me.
He came across a little overbearing to me, and like he was like listening to all our conversations, and I'm like, this is a little creepy to me. Like, what do you don't even know her that well, and his generosity almost annoyed me because it was too much for a stranger.
Too much when she drops the scarf off at his office and he like barges outside. Awkward moment. She's like, so that's what had you run out here like a madman?
Yes.
Like, this is so awkward.
Yeah.
That was so funny.
But he did grow on me. He was sweet, and they did have really nice chemistry, and I think that is why it worked pretty well.
Yeah. I did like her friend. I thought her friend was like kind of funny, straight to the point. She had a great voice, this little storyline of hers, and I thought her friend was kind of fun.
Mm-hmm.
What did y'all think of the location? Because I feel like a lot of the Christmas movies we see, everything is all small town and pretty and decorated. And we see him like driving through the alley to like drop her off. They're having snow fights in the alleys. And I'm like, this is different. And I kind of like it because everybody's reality isn't all like small town decorated and pretty.
It's Christmas in the city.
Yeah.
I think you're exactly right. I mean, it fit with that theme of UpTV for the weekend, Christmas in the city. And it wasn't all this, like you said, this beautiful parts of the city. It was kind of like back alley stuff or, a little neighborhood within the city type of cafe. And you're right. That was really cool. I did get concerned for them for this back alley snowball fight. I'm like, whoa. Is this safe?
Right.
Do we know these kids?
Yeah. We're just like throwing snowballs at people.
They had a nice like little tumble though together during that he was asking for help up and then he pulled her down on. So the two of them together, I thought this movie kind of pushed the limits of what we usually see.
Yes, it did.
He stayed the night.
He stayed the night. I mean, granted,
now, nothing happened. As she tells her friend the next day, nothing happened.
Nothing happened. And they're kind of snuggled up on the couch and they fall asleep together. And then, pointedly, the friend asks, "Yeah, what happened?"
You wink, wink.
He's
not
like,
so subtle.
Yeah.
Yes.
But that was
and
fun.
There was a swear word. They cut the audio, but if you're really conscientious, I mean, he did technically swear.
Yeah, he did.
In front of a child, although it was a hearing impaired center, but still.
Yeah.
Every child can read lips.
The child who is 12, whom he let drive his car in the parking lot.
This was just so funny to me. There were certain things that totally pushed the limits of what we usually see that it reminded me of like, is this a Lifetime network in Canada? Like, is this a Lifetime Canadian movie? But it wasn't. It was really funny.
Yeah.
Oh.
Definitely pushed some limits.
Yes. There were a few things that I wasn't super clear on. Like, what was the actual job she was going for? Oh, she's this PR girl. Oh, that, there were places that they could have gone, I think, to take the movie in a million different directions.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I did kind of appreciate that the pace of their relationship, maybe, like, he wanted to ask her out on a date and she kind of was being like forced him to ask, like,
Yeah.
will you go with me? Certain things like that I kind of thought were cute in their relationship. I don't know. Did you
Mhm.
think they had good chemistry, Jess?
I did. Yeah. Once I warmed up to him, I did. Took me about 30 minutes into the movie, and I'm like,
Did
okay,
it?
I'm good.
Yeah.
We're okay.
Yeah.
I think I warmed up to him like once we got to see his sister a little bit more. His sister and his
Mhm.
nephew, I think,
Yeah.
I don't know, like humanized him a little bit more because he was kind of like, you don't
Mhm.
really know how to take him at first. And
Right.
yeah.
And it was so fun to see them do like all the sign language. I thought that was a really nice touch for
Yes.
the movie.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I really liked that as well.
Yeah.
And then just the fact that he came in every day and bought lunch and didn't need to because he can cook. It's like those little sweet things that were kind of thrown in there.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, you're not so bad.
Yeah. And he really celebrated her too. He celebrated her talents and her ideas. And that's why I feel like what he did was okay and different than what her dad was wanting to do for her.
Yeah.
Even her dad that's what you do in business. That's what you do. Like her dad made that point, and I was like, that is true. But he just couldn't put that aside and be her dad. Like he always
Mhm.
came in business, business, business. And I thought maybe that was more of what she was feeling, like
Yeah. Because with Aiden, like all he really did was like have like said a nice word about her. It's not like he struck a deal like, if you hire her, I will do this for you. That would have been way over the line. But just putting in a good word for someone, like that's not really, I mean, the boss is not going to hire her if he doesn't like her, regardless. So
right. And a good reference goes such a long way, and networking goes such a long way in business.
That's how you do it.
That's how you do
biz.
it. Right.
Got to set that pride aside. And like her friend said, you have to learn to take, what people give sometimes. So
Yeah.
Definitely.
I could see a sequel, Animal Shelter sequel. We're doing something. With the sister finding love, like
anything. Yeah.
Let's go somewhere.
Yes. All right. We have any last thoughts on this movie before we move on to ratings?
I think it's worth a watch.
All right.
Yeah.
Kari, you want to take us away?
Sure. Yeah, I actually gave this just a nice solid middle of the road. It was a 5 out of 10 for me.
Okay. Yay.
How about you, Bree?
I gave it a 7, you guys. I gave it a 7.
I gave it the same.
Yay. Worth a watch, everybody. It's worth the watch.
Yeah, it is.
We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast.
Sometimes love needs a little push. Lizzie Shane, the award-winning author of The 12 Dogs of Christmas, has a brand new small-town romance set in Pine Hollow, Vermont, where every happily ever after begins with adopting an adorable rescue dog.
First love gets a second chance into All the Dogs I've Loved Before when the town librarian, mischievous Australian Shepherd, keeps getting loose and fetching her ex, the town sheriff.
Lizzie Shane's Pine Hollow series has been called an irresistible blend of heart, humor, and a whole lot of puppy love.
And To All the Dogs I've Loved Before is available now wherever books are sold.
To learn more, visit www.lizzieshane.com.
That's LizzieShane.com.
All right. So let's move on to Christmas on Fifth Avenue, which is about Eva, a Christmas-loving professional wish granter who takes on the task of decorating a high-end condo for a reclusive writer who is spending the holidays out of town. But when the handsome writer turns out to be home for the holidays after all, Eva will have to put all her tricks to make him fall in love with Christmas all over again and maybe find romance along the way. So this one, I think almost all of these were based on a book of some sort, but this one definitely was. We mentioned that in the preview, but I think Mistletoe Molly was, and the one after this were as well. So Bree, you've read the book, right?
Yes.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about it compared to the movie? If you remember, I don't know how long it's been since you've read it.
Oh, I reread the book like twice a year.
Oh, okay.
That's fun.
So the book is called Miracle on Fifth Avenue, and it's by Sarah Morgan, and it's part of a series. And there there were actually a lot of changes, but I think for the better. I love the diversity of the cast. I mean, Eva is one of my favorite literary heroines of all time, but I mean, in the book, she's blonde hair, blue eyes, and just reading her all the time, I'm like, gosh, I wish she could have been a brown girl. So I was like, somebody at UpTV fulfilled my wish. But yeah, I mean, in the book, Lucas is a thriller writer and he's suffering from writer's block. And he tells his grandmother that he's at a writer's retreat in Vermont. And so she hires Eva to go to his apartment and decorate while he's gone. And so the whole meet cute from the movie is a little bit different because he sneaks back in and she's there and all of that. And she becomes his muse. Her being there really helps him get back to writing. So we still see some of the writing in the movie, but I wish we could have felt that like excitement that he gets. Like she's in the kitchen cooking with a knife and he's like sneaking in back to the room to like write a killing scene. In the movie, she's such like a romantic at heart. So when she finds out like, I'm your muse, you have me killing people in a book, like it does not go over that well. So, but
That's funny.
I thought the movie was really cute. Lucas, the guy who played Lucas, nailed it. He's so like quiet and brooding, and Eva's just like all happy going. So watching the contrast between them was just, it still translated to like such a good time. So what did y'all think?
I really like this one. I mean, Eva is like impossible not to like her as a character.
Yeah.
She's so bubbly, so optimistic. I need to hire her to be my life coach or something because I need this personality. My only real critique is I thought he was a little moody for a little too long for me. I wanted to see it change a little sooner. But other than that, I mean, they had great chemistry. It was fun. It had great secondary characters. Like I love the doorman. He was so fun and so sweet. But yeah, I thought it was great.
I loved it. I thought it was such a good movie. And you know, when we read the synopsis, I was like, this sounds like a book I've read before. And I actually had read this book years and years ago. I mean, it's kind of older, isn't it, Bree?
Yeah.
So it's kind of an older book, but I had read it years and years ago. I totally forgot a lot about it. But this, even if you've never read the book, even if you haven't seen it, this movie standalone is so good. Because like you said, Eva, she's just this bubbly, Christmas loving helper, you know, but she's not annoying. She really isn't annoying. Like she just is so genuine. And he was a great Scrooge. He was like, he turned and he changed and softened for her in such sweet ways that I was like, oh, I thought he was adorable. What did he do? One time he like ran out of the house. She forgot something. She was going to a job and she forgot something. He like,
the wine or the champagne for the proposal.
She was doing a proposal, like fulfilling a genie wish for somebody. She forgot the champagne and he like, without even thinking, he just grabs it and runs out of the house. And this man is a recluse. I mean, this man doesn't leave his house for anything. And he runs out and takes it to her at the park. And I was like, okay, I think I love you. You know, you were awesome.
And he brought her parents home for the holidays. The great gesture.
Her foster parent or her adoptive parents, but she was a foster child, but then she was adopted. So her parents couldn't afford to come. And she was sad about that, but she was making the best of it. And he brought them home. Like, how could you not love this man?
Yes, I loved her parents too. Like when she's like upset because he wasn't like returning her sentiment or whatever, and the dad's like, I'm gonna kill him with love, of course.
With love, of course, yeah. I will admit, like that was my first kind of gripe about the movie. I was like, she doesn't have parents in the book. But then the movie kept going on and I'm like, but I love them. So I'm not even mad that they made this change.
Yes.
Because it gave him something to do for her, like, you know, towards the end.
You're so right. And then the tradition with the sock. I mean,
that was so sweet.
That was so cute. So I thought it was great. I thought he was such a great character and their on-screen chemistry was awesome. Like I could have I liked the other people in the movie, but I could have watched just them the whole time. Like
Mhm.
they were just so great.
And
Yeah.
New York City at Christmas, it was gorgeous.
Yes.
Saying.
It was
Oh.
so gorgeous. So what was that part about the jewelry store? That's in the book, isn't it, Bree? Where she loves this jewelry store and then he opens it on Christmas.
He opens it at the end. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's so sweet.
And the dress. I mean, he bought her the
Oh,
dress.
yes. That was adorable.
Yeah. Yeah. Lucas nailed it in his own little ways, you know. He just had to come around.
He did. And
He was scared of his feelings.
Yes.
he did. So when you watched this movie, Jess,
Mhm.
I got a text from you that was so just so interesting.
Know what you're referring to.
You want to
Karen.
tell?
Okay, so they're like kind of conflict scene where she's telling him that she's falling in love with him and he's like, I don't have happy endings. I thought they both nailed that performance and the emotion because I started tearing up and I had just like been in the chat telling people I don't cry. It was
Oh,
like
I remember that day.
irony, and then I'm like tearing up and I'm like, what is happening to me?
I think as we're like, we are following, we spend so much time in Eva's head. I think we like most of the movies from her
Mhm.
perspective.
Yeah.
And we see her like all this close proximity and her just trying to like be herself and be a good person. And hey, here's some food. And, you know, she's like putting in all this work. She's doing her job.
Right.
And you know, she's catching feelings. And then for him to just like say that to her, you're like, no, don't do this to her.
Oh, I don't blame you, Jess. It was definitely a moment for me too, where I was like, sometimes when girls do that in movies, I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And my pride, you know, I'm like, whoa, save face. Don't admit, don't put your feelings out there. But she did it in such a good way. And you knew that he felt the same way too. He just had to get over himself.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah. So it was like your heart is just breaking for both of them. Like he needs to just admit, yes, let's be each other's happy ending, you know,
Yeah.
let's do this. And,
Yeah.
but he just needed time.
Yes. But he quickly realizes that he's being an idiot. And then his mother was so sweet. They kind of come up with this little plan and rope in the doorman too and
Yeah.
drive her to the ring store. And we have a end of the movie proposal, which personally I'm not a fan of, but I'm sure everyone else loved it.
Yeah.
I
don't
tend
like
to
end of the
not
movie.
be an end of the movie proposal person either, Jess. I'm with
Okay,
you.
good. I'm like, I don't know if I'm the only one because I'm not like a romantic, but I'm like, oh, you've known each other for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Right. Now with this couple, I thought it worked well because
Okay.
I liked them so much and I liked them together and they made sense and they complemented each other. They were different enough, but complemented each other so well that I was like, yes, let's just jump to the proposal.
Yeah. Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was sweet.
But I'd love to see them again. I think we need a sequel of this one.
Yes.
That's what I was thinking. So that's why in the books, there's 3 friends. It's Eva, Paige, and Frankie. And we get Eva and Paige. And Frankie's actually the one that's like, oh my God, you're with Lucas. Like he's my favorite writer. So I'm like, why don't we have her so that maybe it could give us another movie? But we did get Harriet, and Harriet's from like later on in the series. So I'm like, maybe if they do another one, they'll give us Harriet's book. So
Okay.
That would be fun.
that would be fun.
For
We'll see.
sure.
If anybody from UpTV is listening, we want more.
Give us more.
Yeah.
And everyone we've talked to has loved this movie, so it's not just us.
Yeah. Give us some more.
And yeah, definitely. If you watch this movie and love this movie too, check out Hallmarky's podcast interview with both of the stars. Rachel interviews both of them and just is a great conversation. It's really fun to have fresh people to watch for and root for.
Yes.
As we want to just like see more of them. So that would be fun.
Absolutely. Check that out.
Mhm.
All right.
Anything else to say about this one, Bree? Because I was really curious to see like how you thought of this is one of your favorite literary stories, like at Christmas time. So how the movie kind of did it hold up?
It did. I mean, there's only so much you can do, right? The book is like, I think over 300-ish pages. So to
Okay.
narrow it to like break that down, right? There's only so much that you can do. But I did. I really enjoyed it. I was nervous, you guys. I'm like, no, why would you do this? Don't do this. Don't mess it up.
Oh, it's hard when you watch something that's like a really favorite book of yours. That happened to me last year with they did the adaptation of Hallmark of one of the Glenn books from Robin Jones Gone, and it was so bad.
Oh,
I felt that way too last year with one of their Jenny Hale adaptations. I was like, this is awful. The book is wonderful. Don't do this. But yeah, I liked it. So my
Yeah,
fingers
that's
are
good.
crossed. I would love something else from that world because all of the characters in that series are fantastic. So
Mhm.
it's so
Yeah,
fun.
maybe I should read this series. I'm kind of surprised I haven't even like heard of it. I need to get on this.
you should. The From Manhattan with Love series by Sarah Morgan.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna keep that in the back of my brain when I have free time to read again.
Nice.
I already got 2 books I have to read to review, so I'm like, time is
Right.
not plentiful right now. But anyway, so I gave this one an 8.75.
Ooh,
Pretty
nice.
high for
Pretty
me.
high. That's great.
Like I said, I love these characters. It had great supporting cast. Just wanted him to be a little less grouchy.
Yeah.
And I did dock it a little bit for that proposal because I really don't like
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, right.
But it is more of a personal preference.
Oh my gosh, I rated this one so high.
Did it get a perfect 10?
Yeah.
Whoa, is that the best ever?
10. This is a 10 for me. And I've only given a 10 to another Up movie that was same time next week. I loved that storyline. I loved that whole movie. This one, I just didn't find anything really wrong with this movie, honestly. To even knock it down, any points, I liked it so much. I liked the characters. Christmas in the City, I mean, it totally held up to that. I would recommend this movie to anybody.
It's like a
thought it
good
was
gateway
so-
one. If you're new to Up, watch this movie.
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
definitely. I thought it was awesome, and it is my 10 out of 10. It's a diamond ring for sure.
Woo.
A diamond ring.
Do you remember what you gave it in the preview? I'm curious how it
I did not give this a diamond ring in the preview. I don't.
It would have been really funny if you had given it like coal.
Yeah.
I didn't. No, I didn't give a coal. I was kind of excited for it because of, I love a close proximity storyline,
Yeah.
romance, that type of force, the opposites attracting. I love all of that. But it just really held up. It totally met my expectations and exceeded, I guess. So 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
All
Yeah.
right. How about you, Bree? What'd you rate this one?
Well, I rated it a 9.
Wow.
And the only reason I like docked it a little bit was it, like I said, the parent part I really appreciated. However, the original storyline, she was raised by her grandmother, and I love that so much. And her grandmother had recently passed away. So she was essentially from her friends, and like Lucas's grandmother, because in the book it's his grandmother as well. That was her family. So she really she felt like she was alone. And I kind of wish we would have gotten to see that still on film. But I mean, the parent part also was really good. It's just, it's a personal preference, guys. It's a But yeah, loved it. Everybody should watch it.
Yes, high ratings all around.
Yeah, still high. 8.75, 9, and a 10. I mean, this was a really, really good movie.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. All right. Our next 2 movies are at the opposite end of the spectrum. They are small town Christmas weekend movies. So we have the small towns back. The first one is, I think it was originally marketed as Christmas Under the Stars, but I think it's actually Christmas Beneath the Stars. So it's a little confusing, but I think it's going to be or should be called Christmas Beneath the Stars.
Okay.
Well,
that makes sense because we tried to look for any information, and we couldn't find nothing of Christmas Under the Stars. So this makes much more sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So this one is about Christmas blogger and aspiring photographer Hannah Reed just got the assignment of a lifetime, a visit to a charming town in Christmas wonderland called Christmas World. And she's looking to get published in her favorite nature magazine. With her Christmas-loving Aunt Lucy in tow, she arrives at Christmas World expecting magic and is greeted by a sadly decorated town. And then she strikes a deal with the heir apparent of Christmas World in exchange for a local's insight into the best places to photograph the lights. The two set out to turn Christmas World around, but will they find something even more magical along the way? How do we feel about this one?
Sadly, I wasn't a fan of this one. I don't remember really anything about it. And I watched it last night. And I just remember thinking, I don't like it. Sorry. What about you? What about y'all?
I know it was not for me. It was not for me. I honestly, the movie was going and I was like, oh my gosh, so many things, so much happened, but I felt like nothing was happening. And I looked and it was like only 25 minutes into the movie. And I was like, oh my gosh, like where in the world is this even going to go? This movie, it went a million places. Like there were so many places and storylines and twists and hijinks. And I was like, but it wasn't interesting stuff. I didn't think.
Yeah.
Anyway, it wasn't for me. What did you think, Jess? Did you like it?
No, I didn't. I thought the two main characters had nice chemistry, and that's why I kind of gave it a decent rating, but the story didn't work at all for me. Yeah, I think you kind of hit the nail on the head. It was kind of all over the place, and I mean, I'm kind of jumping to the end, but I thought this like big save of them all chipping in to buy Christmas World was a little that didn't work for me. It was like, it was $100K, like $100,000, and I'm like, this place was obviously failing. Why are you all so eager to invest your money in it?
Right.
Sounds like a bad business idea.
One, like, it really was a rundown little camp. It was not a theme park. I thought maybe like Christmas World, you're thinking Disney World, like a theme park.
Yes,
But
there is a theme park in Indiana called Holiday World. I'm like, that's what I was envisioning.
Really?
There was no theme park.
No. So this was like just a sad little camp, and people, there were some good things about it. Probably they said the best thing about it was the land, the nature, like let's highlight the beauty of the winter here.
Mhm.
Well, it was obviously summer when they filmed this movie.
I was like, aren't they like, wasn't it it's in Alaska? When they
Right.
pull up, I'm like, isn't Alaska like very cold and snowy during the winter? I've never been, but everything I see on TV and online is there's snow.
Yes.
And they kept saying like, oh, in the snow, and people usually get lost in the snow. And I'm like, stop saying snow if there's no snow.
There's none.
You're
Yes.
just highlighting the fact that there was no snow.
Now we're looking for the snow.
Yeah,
And it's not there.
there's no snow. So I don't know. I mean, this Mark guy, right? The manager of the camp, Christmas World, he was totally sabotaging the whole thing, right? Like he was not a trustworthy employee. But they kind of didn't get that storyline going until like the very end, right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it started more toward the middle, but like what I think their kind of mistake was is they didn't really they made it so obvious right away. I honestly thought, I'm like, is this a red herring? Like, is it really going to be somebody else? And they're just like trying to make us think it's him. And then I was like, no, it was him.
You're right.
Yeah.
It was.
There was no suspense about it because they just basically made it obvious that he was the one.
We did get a mid-movie kiss though. Like it wasn't interrupted. It was definitely blanket makeout session, like right away, mid-movie. It was great. I did think one of the best things about this movie was Aunt Lucy. She was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I liked Aunt Lucy.
Yeah, she was so on board to just change all her plans. Like, yeah, I'll go to Alaska with you, pack my bags.
Surprise! I'm going with you.
She was supportive. She was fun. She was like wise. She was really good character to me. I thought she was great.
Yeah.
I just didn't feel like it was anything special. And I feel like I feel like basic plot lines are okay, right? We can't reinvent the wheel. Everything has been done.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're going to do something that's very basic, I just try to make it some kind of special. And I just didn't feel that at all. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. I think, Yeah, I agree. I think that the writing, they tried to make it special with just like all of these different things that were happening to the characters, where if you just choose like one or two and really develop those storylines, it could be strong. And like you said, I don't mind a basic story plot.
Mhm.
Sometimes those are the best movies if they make them like really solid.
Yeah, exactly. So I do think they had good chemistry. Like you said, Jess, they liked each other and you could tell, and I was rooting for them, and that was sweet.
Yeah. And then we had this whole thing with Greta, which felt really out of place to me. I don't know if you guys felt the same way. Like something about it just felt a little off.
Yeah, and I almost wanted her to be as villainous as Mark. Like,
Yeah. I kind of think like maybe they were in like cahoots at first.
Yeah.
yeah,
Just give me something. Just give me something. So
try to like manipulate Ben here, but for the two of them, and then they're gonna like blackmail him or something. I don't know. I wanted it to be maybe more villainy than it actually was.
Put a little Lifetime in it.
Totally wanted that. I wanted that Canadian Lifetime.
The Northern Lights were pretty,
Yes.
And the horse, I mean, his horse was great. The horse, like, that was his mode of transportation. He like hefted her up on this horse like so easily 5 times throughout the whole.
With a walking boot.
I mean, he just got that done. So that was kind of fun. I don't know.
This one isn't it, you guys. It just wasn't. I'm not going to tell anybody to not watch something because it may be your next favorite movie. But for me, and I think it's safe to say for you too, it was a miss.
Miss. It was a miss. Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, what did we all rate this one? I was actually generous, but
you were okay. You go first. No, you go last. You gave it a 5. I gave it a 3.
I gave it a 3.
Okay. My Christmas generosity.
It was Christmas generosity. Okay, wait, tell us why, why a 5 for you? So it wasn't horrible, but it wasn't awesome. So it's kind of middle of the road.
Middle of the road, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's because I like their chemistry and I've seen much worse. So
yes.
It wasn't one where I was like dying the whole time. Like there was enough there that I was like, I can watch this and not really feel like I wasted my life.
Yeah, I think for me with the 3, the reason why it wasn't middle of the road for me is that there were certain things that I was like, what? Why? And some things like, no, you didn't need to put that in there too. Yeah. Gosh, another thing and another person's name I have to remember, and it just was so many things going on that it lost my interest, I guess. So I mean, obviously they have a happily ever after, and they've all committed now their time and money and selves to Christmas World. So it was a cute ending when he said, I'm falling in love with you. And I don't know if that's clear. Like, I hope that's clear to you,
Yeah.
That was cute. That's my 3. What about you, Bree? Why a 3?
I had a couple of those moments as I was watching it where I was like, who thought this was good to put on TV? Like, why are you insulting us as viewers? Like, we could have spent a little bit more time maybe developing this, fleshing things out. I did like the chemistry. Alaska's a buzzword. If I hear Alaska's in something, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna watch it regardless. But I think they try to overcompensate by like putting in all this extra jazz that just did not work in the end. So
well, okay, I'm gonna say one more thing and then that's it. What about this awesome elf character at the very beginning? Like, where did he go?
He disappeared.
I love him.
Right.
He was so funny, and then he just never came back.
It's just like the animal shelter in Mistletoe and
We
Molly.
have some drop
Totally.
storylines.
Yes. Exactly.
Totally. Oh, funny.
Oh goodness. Yes, he was definitely an interesting character. They could have made him make it more fun.
He was so awkward. So awkward.
So awkward. He should have been the one who like came up on the horse to save them. That would have been
Yes. Add a little bit of comedy in there.
Yes, exactly.
good.
Hey Hallmarkies, it's time to take a quick break to talk about something super fun. How would you like to party with your favorite celebrities from the Christmas and seasonal movies that you love so much? If you enjoy watching romantic dramas on network television and streaming services, you don't want to miss the Rama Drama live event coming soon in 2022. Spend the weekend escaping into the Rama Drama world and meeting your favorite on-screen celebrities like Trevor Donovan, Ryan Pavey, Andrew Walker, Jen Lilly, Wes Brown, Brittany Bristow, Aaron Cahill, Rob Mays, and more. These fan-focused in-person parties cater to movie lovers just like you. Make memories, leave with photos, autographed swag, and an exceptional experience to last a lifetime. Join us in Palm Beach, Florida on January 7th through 9th, 2022 at the Palm Beach Convention Center. You can get more information and your tickets from ramadrama.com. Again, that's ramadrama.com.
All right.
All right. Last one, A Furry Little Christmas. And this one does deliver on the animals. So, okay.
Get the animals in this one. For real.
And this one is Big City Veterinarian falls for a small town doctor when he sets out to recreate a New York City Christmas in her Vermont hometown.
Mhm.
So I really like this one. I don't know if it was all the animals that really just helped me, but I thought these characters were really cute. And we had nice banter. And I loved the little boy, Milo. I thought he was so cute. I loved his relationship with his grandpa and like how they kind of spent time together and were like talking about memories. So I really like this one.
Mhm. Mhm.
She tripped me up though because she was talking to what's the love interest? What's his name?
Josh.
She was talking to Josh and she's like, I'm used to not needing anybody. But I'm like, girl, the whole time you've been home, you've needed like your dad to watch Milo while you're out doing this. So I was like, weird. But yeah, I loved it too. I was like, when's the last time we saw a veterinarian heroine that actually like we're seeing going and working? And the scene where she's like in the pink overalls, which I loved, and she's like pacing back and forth, talking to the horse, like, I can't do this. Can I do this? I can't do this. And she'd like disappear and come back, like, I don't think I could do this. And then she comes back and she's so proud of herself, like, I delivered a calf. I did it. You know, it's just like, wow, I feel like I haven't seen something like that. They're very polished and I'm in marketing or whatever. Like this lady literally came out with dirt and blood on her clothes. I loved it.
You're true to your job.
Yes.
Yes. She literally was doing her job. And I think that is so great. Now that was kind of more of a tell, not show, which I thought was kind of fun. I mean, show, not tell.
Mhm.
I messed that up. But and then she goes to the grocery store and they have their meet cute, which was great.
Over some cereal.
Over cereal that they both wanted. And they're both just like throwing out their credentials, you know, they're a doctor, where they went to school. Like they're just trying to one up each other so bad.
I love that.
I loved it.
I loved in that moment too, kind of some of that veterinarian love. Because I feel like veterinarians are overlooked as medical professionals. She's like, oh, by the way, it's harder to get into my school than it is yours.
Right. Right.
Yes. And she, you know, can help multiple species.
Yes.
Oh, so cute. No,
Jab after jab.
Exactly. I agree with both of you. I thought this was a really good story, a really cute movie. I thought the dad was adorable. I mean, he made me tear up at the end when she chooses to stay, and he has that moment, and he's just gonna kind of go with it. And he was so happy. I was like, Grandpa, you know, he was so cute. But the immediate attraction that Dr. Josh had to our Dr. Miller, was so cute. And then how he really worked to know her well and
Mhm.
create New York traditions for her in Vermont was so cute. I
Yeah.
thought that was really precious how he did that. Ice
Yeah.
skating was a little different. It was roller skating.
I was like, this
That day didn't end well though.
no, no.
Community theater, instead of like this beautiful ballet in New York City. And
Yeah.
but that was precious to me.
Yeah, that was sweet.
He won me over pretty fast.
Yeah.
It was sweet. Okay, the one question that I had was like, why did she have her friend come spend the holidays?
I don't know. I thought that was really random too.
It was kind of awkward because I was like, okay, is this going to become that storyline where he thinks that they're dating?
Right.
Which it never seemed
glad
to
it
go
didn't.
that way. Yeah, but then like you invite your friend, but you're not really hanging out with your friend. You're still going on dates and stuff. It was just weird. It's kind of like the animal shelter from the first movie. Like, why is this here?
Well, and I wonder too, like she could be away for so long because she had this guy running her veterinarian hospital or whatever in the city. Like, how could he leave?
Yeah.
Like, why could he leave?
And I mean, as a business owner, how do you are you going to hand it over to him? Is he even a veterinarian? Is everybody out of a job now? I just feel like that is we know that you have to do it for love. You're choosing love, but there's a lot at stake back in New York that you're just being like, oh, I'm going to stay here. Like, what about your business?
Oh my gosh. The whole last half of the movie where they're really falling for each other, but she has the conflict, of like, we can't do long distance. I live far away. And he says, well, you could just move here. It'd be perfect.
Yeah.
I actually thought they handled all of that really well. Like, that he would even say that she would take such offense at it, but then they kind of like talked it through and worked it through. I mean, I really admired the writing of that whole, you take these misunderstandings and these arguments and you never really see good conflict resolution, but they had it. Yeah. I actually thought they did it well.
Yeah. I agree. I think it's because they had those conversations, because normally it'd be like, how dare you? And then they just blow up and there's like nothing. There's no real follow through, but they both had like good points. She was like, we've only known each other for 5 days. Yes. Thank you.
I know, like him thinking of the perfect scenario of how they could keep getting to know each other and date. It was unfair to say you could move here. Like, how easy is that? And she's like, not easy.
Got a business. I got a child.
Yeah, we have a life in New York. And yeah, I just thought that was good writing, and it really resolved for me well that I could believe her moving to Vermont was her choice, was a good choice, and they, happily ever after happens.
Yeah.
I think that Milo really wanting to stay too. I was like, okay, this is why I'm okay with this. Otherwise, I would have had so much to say and it would have been a totally different story. But I'm like, he wants to be there. He wants to be closer to his family and he's making friends. And
yeah, exactly. Grandpa, it was such a great character. And the one thing that kind of bothered me a little bit just about her, I didn't like her little jealousies, like with all of these.
Yeah.
That seems weird to me, a little out of place. Like,
it's not like he was going on dates with them.
Yeah.
They were just women being women to a doctor.
Yeah. The one hot doctor in the small town.
Or even like, how about just, he's a upstanding community member, and he just was, he knows a lot of people. Like, it didn't seem flirty to me, or that seemed like a lot of just a jealous nature of hers that I didn't like, but they'll work through that.
Yeah.
They'll be fine.
All right. Any other last thoughts on this one?
It's another one that's worth the watch, everybody.
I think so too. And I think it's good that it had, if you're going to say a furry Christmas or whatever, a furry little Christmas, they had some great animal moments, animal shots there. There was a cow, a horse, a kittens and dogs and goats, and that was really kind of precious. And
I was so happy when he adopted Banjo.
I know.
That's like, you adopted the dog she spent like all that time talking to, because nobody was paying him attention. That was sweet.
Very sweet, very, very sweet.
Yes.
That's why it won me over, I think. I liked it.
Yeah, same.
Would you rate this one?
I gave it an 8.75.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah.
Very good.
Loved
What about
it.
you, Jess?
I was very, very similar. I gave it a 9. I really liked it.
Yay!
That's so great. Well, I gave it a 7.
How
Oh,
dare you.
Awesome.
I'm kidding.
I really enjoyed it. I totally did. I don't necessarily know why. You know, sometimes you rate these things, you're like, wait, why did I? Because then you talk about it and you're like, I did like it.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think it's almost like the chemistry that the characters have with you and what it means to you.
Mhm.
So
Right. That's true. There was a lot of like when I was little or when your mom was little type of talk, but that built into this great family structure.
Yep.
And sometimes I can find that stuff annoying, but I think this really kind of laid a lot of groundwork to this good ending. So good. So okay, so a 9. Who gave it a 9? Jess, you said you gave
I
it a
did.
9. So tell us why it was such a high score for you.
I just really liked it. I mean, I like their chemistry. I loved all the other supporting cast. I mean, I love animals. I mean, they had all the animals. I was holding my cat, watching him open a box with the little orange kitten, holding my orange kitten, and I was like, oh my gosh. My cat slept through it. No,
So-
you put animals in it. I mean, it's gonna be a winner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Actual
yeah.
follow through with the animals. Show us the animals.
Show us, interact with the animals. I mean, that was super fun. Yeah, I'd love to see him in more Up movies. I don't even think I've seen her in many, so that would be fun to see them again.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, I want to see her in something else.
Yeah,
She did a good job.
because I put this one as my number 1 of all of Up so far, with the Christmas, the Fifth Avenue one second. So I mean, it's a good weekend.
Of all the Christmas ones. Okay, so we've watched
Up.
for
Because we've watched 8 so far.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of what well, obviously the Christmas on Fifth Avenue is my number 1 since it's my highest rated, but I really did like that Snowed In for Christmas.
I was say that was probably pretty close.
Mhm.
Oh, I have that one recorded. So good. I'll watch it tonight now that I know.
Yes, that one's my
Yeah,
number 3. So
Good. So
yes,
what's coming up? What themes are coming up for the next time we meet?
thing.
I just love that they have themes.
too.
That is so cool.
Well, it kind of helped. It helped me be like, kind of,
Yeah.
I don't know, just the framework really
You
helped.
kind of know what you're getting a little bit, like you know
Yes.
what to expect.
Mm-hmm.
Totally.
Okay, so the next set of movies are Saving Christmas Weekend with Christmas in the Rockies, which has Steven Huszar. We love him.
Mhm.
And Fixing Up Christmas. And then the last group is called Christmas Together.
Love it.
And that's got some Lifetime actors. So
Okay.
that'll be a
Good.
fun one. But yes, I think we only have 3 more. I don't think they made it an even number unless they have one more they're going to tack on. But yeah, we have 3 more. 2 more weekends.
Saving Christmas and Christmas Together. Love it.
Love it. I'm ready. I'm ready
Yes.
for more Christmas movies.
So yeah, we had a pretty good group this time of movies.
We did.
It was a really good couple of movies. Let us know what you thought of those that we've talked about. Leave us your comments and ratings and all of that. And Bree, where can people find you on social media?
I'm at Falling for Romance on Instagram, and on Twitter, I'm Bree Hill, maybe an underscore in there. Hill XO. I don't know, guys. But I'm there. You'll find me.
Kari, where can people find you?
People can find me on Instagram at Hallmark Comics. That's Hallmark_comics. And I'd love to have you follow me and interact with me there.
Awesome. And you can find me at Jess BSW blog on Twitter and Instagram. And of course, you can follow Hallmarkies podcast and Once Upon an Upside across like all the social media channels. Just search for us. You'll find us. All right, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Bye. Happy
Bye.